Have you ever noticed how some guys seem ultra confident until the moment they're tested for real? That's when it all falls apart. Their voice shifts, their eyes shake, their smile freezes. The alpha collapses like a house of cards in the wind. Know why? Because it wasn't confidence. It was acting. This is the problem with a lot of men today. They've mastered the art of pretending to be secure. They copy alpha postures, train their stare in the mirror, memorize motivational one-liners, but still panic the second they're challenged, rejected, or ignored. Real confidence doesn't make noise. It doesn't need to shout or prove anything. It just is. It's in your body, your gestures, your actions. But what most guys have is a character. A mask built to hide the constant fear of not being enough. And if you don't have the balls to face that now, you'll keep fooling everyone except yourself. Here's the truth. A lot of guys talk loud, show off, but they're falling apart inside. They live in constant comparison, feel small around other men, and crave attention just to feel like they matter. You might fool people, but if you can't sit in silence without being noticed and still feel grounded, you're not confident. You're scared. And here's the worst part. That fear has a scent. People smell it. Women smell it. Life throws more pressure at you just to watch you crumble. Because the world always tests those who fake it. But let me say this, it's not your fault you learned to fake it. Society pushes this. Since you were a kid, you were told to look strong, be nice, fit in. No one taught you how to build a solid foundation from within. They just trained you to perform well enough that no one questions your emptiness. But if you keep playing this character, you'll grow old insecure, validation dependent, and full of weak excuses like I just didn't get lucky. So now the question is, are you going to keep pretending to be confident? Or are you finally ready to tear off the mask and build the real thing? Want to know if your confidence is real or just a well-practiced lie? I'll show you, and if it hurts, good. That means I hit exactly where you're still weak. The faker has patterns. He talks too loud, walks puffed up, laughs harder than necessary, always trying to look in control. But if you look close, you'll see his eyes constantly scanning for approval. He's the kind of guy who walks into a room and needs to be noticed. Because if nobody looks, he feels like nothing, like zero. He shows off but can't handle pressure, pretends to be dominant but avoids real confrontation, needs to win everything but shits himself at the first sign of failure. He lives in this character because deep down he's terrified of being just another guy. Let me give you a classic example. The guy who talks to every girl at the party looks super confident. But the second one of them rejects him, he spirals. His chest tightens, his ego melts. The confidence he was selling evaporates in seconds because it was fake, just well-dressed anxiety. Another dead giveaway, constant comparison. This type of guy can't see someone winning without feeling threatened. His friend gets a hot girlfriend. He fake smiles but secretly burns inside, sees someone traveling, making money. He thinks, why not me? Then he jumps into performance mode. Has to prove more, post more, flex more, not to grow, but to hide the fact that he feels less. Then there's the compulsive need to prove himself. This is a quiet prison. Insecure men need the world to see they're strong, smart, successful. But here's the kicker, if you need to prove it, you clearly don't believe it yourself. A truly confident man doesn't scream, I'm the man. He just is. He does the work. He delivers, period. And here's the price. This whole act drains you, because keeping up a character costs energy. You're never relaxed, never fully present, always calculating how to sound, how to look, how to be perceived. That's not confidence, that's fear in disguise. So ask yourself how much of your confidence is built on being seen, praised, liked. If no one recognized you, would you still feel strong? If the answer is no, maybe it's time to stop acting like a confident man and actually become one. Ever wonder why certain situations trigger your anxiety, even when you look confident? Because insecurity doesn't disappear just because you dress it up. It hides behind habits, thoughts, and behaviors you've been repeating for so long. You think they're just part of who you are. Let me rip that illusion apart. First trigger, social anxiety. And no, I'm not talking about the shy, awkward kind. I'm talking about the silent anxiety of the guy who pretends to be chill. The one who walks into a conversation and immediately starts thinking, are they judging me? Do I sound interesting? Am I coming off as weak? He might look smooth on the outside, but his mind is in survival mode. Second trigger, constant comparison. This one's deadly. You scroll social media, see someone in better shape, with more money, with a hotter girl, and you feel like shit. You pretend to admire them, but deep down, you're hating it. Not because they're better, but because their success exposes your insecurity. And that makes you want to compete, not grow. So you start chasing status. Not because you want to level up, but because you can't stand seeing someone ahead of you. That's not drive, that's weakness. Third trigger, the urge to prove yourself. This one keeps insecure men in chains their whole lives. You need validation. You need to be seen as strong, smart, successful. But the very need to prove that screams insecurity. Real confidence doesn't shout, it doesn't seek applause. It just delivers. And here's the truth no one tells you. All that fake confidence you project is draining the hell out of you. You're always performing, always analyzing how you're being perceived, always trying to maintain control of an image. It's exhausting. You go home after social events and feel completely wiped, not because you're introverted, but because pretending to be someone you're not takes effort. Every interaction becomes a performance. Every relationship feels fragile. You're terrified of being found out. So what do? First, stop calling it personality. Call it what it is, fear. Call it what it is, fragility wrapped in ego. Then be honest enough to admit you're not where you want to be, and brutal enough to face what needs to change. Because if you keep letting these hidden triggers run your life, you're not just insecure. You're enslaved by a version of yourself that's too scared to be real. You're not born confident, you build it. And no, it has nothing to do with standing tall, wearing a Rolex, or quoting alpha male mantras. Confidence is built through kept promises. Let me say that again. Confidence is what happens when you do what you say you're going to do. Not for others, for yourself. You want to know where most men destroy their self-respect? In the silent, broken promises. You say you'll wake up early, you don't. You say you'll work out, you skip. You say you'll stop watching porn and you're back at it the next night with your hand in your pants like a slave. Every time you do that, you kill a piece of your self-image. Your brain keeps score. It starts to believe this guy can't be trusted. And once you don't trust yourself, you can't be confident. You've lost your foundation. Second piece, voluntary discomfort. There's no skipping this part. Real confidence is born every time you walk into discomfort and survive. When you face fear, when you push through resistance, when you do the shit you don't want to do, that's when the internal voice changes. Because you're proving to yourself, I don't run. Talk to the girl, take the hit, ask the question, own the mistake, go to the gym when you feel like trash, work when you're tired. Every one of those moments is a vote for your identity. And here's the third pillar, a solid internal identity. Most men build their self-worth on external crap, looks, money, likes, status. But a man with real confidence builds from the inside. He knows who he is, even when he's broke, even when no one's clapping, even when life punches him in the face. How do you build that? Habits. Habits that confirm who you are, not who you're pretending to be. You want to be disciplined? Wake up and train. You want to be focused? Stop scrolling and start producing. You want to be respected? Speak less, do more, and repeat that shit daily. No hype, no audience, just you against your old self. That's the secret. Confidence is earned through battle scars, not compliments. Every time you choose what's hard over what's easy, every time you show up instead of giving in, every time you stay solid when everything says quit, you earn a new layer of confidence. And one day you'll realize you don't need to prove anything anymore, because you know you became it. This is it. Everything I said so far means nothing if you don't make a decision right now. You can keep pretending, keep flexing in mirrors, keep copying alpha poses on Instagram, keep showing off in the gym or playing the loud guy at parties while deep down, you're still the insecure kid hoping no one notices how weak you feel inside. You can keep doing that. But here's the reality: if you choose that path, you become a slave to your own mask. The faker lives in fear. Fear of being seen for who he really is. Fear of rejection, fear of being forgotten. So he builds a persona and clings to it like a shield. But that shield drains him every day. It strips away his energy, his identity, his fire, until one day he breaks, and when that day comes, no one's there to save him, because no one ever knew the real him. Now look at the other path, the man who stops performing, who faces discomfort, who rebuilds from the ground up, who keeps his word when it sucks, who doesn't flinch when tested. That man doesn't need applause. He doesn't chase respect. He commands it without saying a word. And yeah, it's hard. There are days where you'll feel like trash, days where you want to disappear, days where no one believes in you, not even you. But those are the days when real confidence is born. Not in comfort, not in compliments, in silence, in struggle, in pain. When you keep pushing when everything inside you screams to quit, that's the moment the old version of you dies. And a real man takes his place. So now it's your move. Keep hiding behind a fake version of confidence. Or kill that version and become the man who doesn't need to fake it anymore. You already know the answer. And if you're really done playing games with yourself, then it's time. Download the ebook Stop Being a Loser. In 14 days, you'll cut the porn, kill procrastination, and start building the discipline and focus of a man who dominates his life. No fluff, no theory, just raw execution. Click the link now, or keep living in the same story, the same excuses, the same mask. But remember, nothing changes if you don't move. Your future starts now, or never.